digestive somehow.
Welcome to Star Trek Adventures. Thank you for joining us once again. If you direct your attention right to the top up here, you will see our Star Trek Adventure drinking game rules. And it's a great way to introduce our characters. So, number one, Gabe. That is me. If I ever snap my fingers to try to get these fools' attentions, you take a drink. Number two, we have Ivy. Right over here. If Ivy ever complains
about dice rolls,
which I
do often,
very often,
Anyone's dice roll.
Plays it all.
you take a drink. Number three, we have Rob over here.
Hey-oh.
Anytime Rob starts chewing the scenery, you take a drink. If you want to play the hardcore rules, play it as waterfall. Just keep drinking until he stops chewing the scene.
Good luck with that.
don't do it.
And then you will be down
Don't
for
switch
the
and drive
count.
that
Switch and
straight.
drive.
Number four, we have Rick. Whenever Rick rules lawyers, take a drink.
Well, is it rose lawyering if you... No.
And that's it right there.
Never mind, here we go.
Number five, we have Kevin.
Hey-oh.
Whenever Kevin says or begins a sentence with, well, that's not how I, you take a drink.
Or any similar reference to
Yes.
that, sure.
Once again, Kevin and Rob are both experienced GMs, so they might jump in every once in a while, but we like to tease them because of that. The next one is Becca. Whenever Becca tries to go nuclear, that is, instead of just stepping on an ant trying to use a flamethrower, we take a drink.
Seems logical.
It's the best way to handle it.
Is number seven.
It's the only way to be sure.
Whenever there's a, that's what she or he say, take a drink. Number 8. Whenever someone's booty is flashed across the screen, we yell out, that booty.
That booty!
And take a drink. Number 9. Hey, we're Starfleet. It's something that's said quite often. Take a drink. Number 10, back to me. Whenever Gabe says, alright, side note. Take a
That
drink.
happens a lot.
And number 11, last but certainly not least, whenever there is sci-fi cross-contamination.
Which happens all the time.
All the time.
Also, I've noticed we keep adding rules.
Yes. You take a drink.
You're gonna have to start
We're
putting
going
them
to
on
have
like
to be drinking
individual
more than
lines
breathing
on
here
the
soon.
side or something.
All
Yeah,
right.
sidebar of drinking.
So,
Should do the drunken history version of Star
Last
Trek
thing.
Adventures.
Oh my god.
do us a favor. We're trying to kind of get all the kinks worked out on this. If for whatever reason our audio is too loud, something
Not
isn't
over
quite
my
working
drink.
out, please let us know in the
You're
chat
lucky it's still in the
so we
can.
could fix it. All right.
That's fine.
So that being said, we are going to get started.
Rick knocked over my drink.
Clear stuff for a second.
Considering where the camera is, that booty is no longer practical.
That booty is
Don't
not
worry,
practical.
whenever any of us have to go that way.
Here, fine.
There will be
There we go.
that booty!
Well,
Where the fuck
while
did
he
it go?
figures
Where-
that
What
out,
are you doing?
The other sheet just disappeared underneath.
What other sheet?
Rick dropped his reference sheet and it's completely underneath that.
This one?
Rick has
Because
lost,
of helmet
Rick has
fine,
lost his
so-
sheet.
Our security.
you've
There
lost
it
your
is.
sheet.
Yeah, it's all the way on the other side.
And there it
Pale
is.
investigating
It
and
It sounds
palette
like
now.
paper's really lightweight and it just.
It does. It just floated.
Okay.
Cool.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, well.
So,
All right.
So I kind of had the
Yeah.
executive decision based on my log that we're going to the planet too
I
long.
feel like the log is far more canon
No,
than the
no,
game
no.
itself.
Captain said that anyway.
Oh, awesome, great.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the I just?
It was on the
uh,
Starfleet Facebook page.
Yeah,
What happened?
right.
What just happened?
It was on
My
the.
fucking head now forever. The line thing open. I just went.
Swenya.
Yeah.
Oh my
Is
god.
that a dream? Because that's
It's
cross
good.
contamination right there.
Okay. that is-
Refocus.
All right, I'm not
Yeah,
drinking for this one. I'm still trying to put my shit away from Rick knocking it over.
All right. So
Nose your face.
when we last left our noble crew,
Sorry.
they had just made a mess of the Leviathan's lair, but somehow the fish people still seemed okay with how that went about.
Diplomatic
Fast
corps is good
talking
for something.
diplomats.
Lots of diplomatic
That's what I'm good at.
stuff happened. You guys leave on good terms with them. Also, I believe via our Officer Harmony, you also acquired a couple star charts to let you know.
It was Ginger that did it.
had acquired a few star charts of the general area. So you do understand where you are at in comparison to where you are right now. Our captain has made the executive decision that the closest possible place that they could get to at Warp 4, which their engines are now capable of, is the planet Tula. So, that is where we find ourselves. I believe you guys are just on orbit of the previous planet. So anything that you would like to do from here on forward is on you.
Hello, Captain.
Yes.
I believe we should convene with the crew in order to discuss our options before we enter the planet Tula. I think because that planet is at war at the moment, we should probably consider cloaking mechanisms and observing the situation before we enter.
Right. The Banthene is not capable of cloak. Is that correct? No, we do
That
have
is
a
correct.
cloak.
Yes,
No,
we do.
that is
That's-
one very specific ship.
Right. That's right. So we do not have
But
cloak.
can
Not
I make it?
yet.
Not yet.
Don't
Yes.
worry, we got J.K. Johnson
No,
on
no.
board.
Don't step on Harmony's
Damage
toes.
balls.
As a side note, just so you understand,
We still have the-
that particular treaty says that Starfleet cannot
Cannot
have cloak or use it anywhere within that quadrant.
Wait, what treaty?
Neutral zone treaty? We're
And
good
no,
with that.
We're
specifically,
not anywhere in that quadrant,
No,
first
no,
of
the
all.
Klingon treaty.
specifically that treaty says that they cannot develop cloak technology. The cloak that is on the Defiant is not a Starfleet cloak. It is a loner.
Mm-hmm.
So they are not allowed to scientifically develop one per that treaty.
That being said,
We're not in that quadrant.
if you so chose, after a long development period, that could be possible. However, coming back, that could be an issue you may have to answer for.
We'll have to go through
But that is going to
They can
be
see us.
a call on your end.
From what I
First
understand
of all,
about the
we're
guys,
in the ass crack of fucking space.
Sure.
Who's gonna go over there and check out our busted ass ship?
plus on top of
That'd be nice if someone
the
did
guy
actually.
running the space station
Toes
we
back.
came from was really into funding resources to develop new stuff.
Yeah. With
I
his-
don't believe that doesn't know.
Is that the game?
Also-
Yes, I
Not
get that.
more, less.
That was
Wait,
the subtext.
All right,
There was some stuff.
Ain't nobody
Alright,
in the
that
Geek
was
Show
more than
Expanse
less.
actually gives a shit about that shit.
all right, crew. Let's have a senior
that was
officers meeting
Okay.
in boardroom
I would
D.
like to bring.
boardroom and then a conference
I
room.
would-
Conference room. Sorry. Yeah, it's boardroom.
It's
D.
now
Yeah,
more. Yeah,
boardroom
for
D
this,
is
for the
taken right
purpose
now.
of
Hold on a
boardroom here, it's
Sounds
boardroom D.
official.
I would
He's
like
dead.
to. I'm
Next.
gonna bring Luke. I'm gonna bring Ensign First Class Toblerone. It's my personal aide.
It's Tobar, sir.
Tomas. You're right.
Tobar.
Senior officers meeting. Tobar.
Right. He's
Tobar
my
can sit-
aide. He can wait outside.
He can wait outside. That's
He's
fine.
gonna come in with me and then go wait
He's
outside.
gonna take notes from outside.
Is he coming in to go wait outside? That's
Makes him
retarded.
feel good.
I would like to bestow upon you the speaking Spock.
The speaking
Oh.
Spock.
It has worked many a time.
It is very much like a speaking stick, except it's a speaking Spock. Whoever has the Spock may speak.
I have.
Use
I
that
have
at your
the
discretion. Use that at your discretion.
Spock. All right.
So we will declare our desire to have the speaking spot by.
Except we're in the same room, we wouldn't be hitting our comms.
It's just
to get
for
the speaking
for
Spock,
our
we will.
reference. I want to talk. I want to talk. I want to talk. Please.
Your face character's
I think.
going out there.
I
Stop
think
it.
Rob's gonna punch himself to death over there.
Ooh, I want to watch this.
Just a win, yeah.
Yeah, we need to have Tomas
All right.
punch
So
up. Let's work
the
this
next,
out.
our next destination is the planet
Too long.
Too lost, sir.
Tula.
Two off, sir.
Tula.
T-U-L-O-T.
So my understanding for this planet is that it is inhabited by intelligent mechanical life forms, as well as large biological beasts of various types, and that there is a war between the surface-dwelling machines and the underground-dwelling
Permanent, sir.
biological life forms
And inhabitants.
and
Yeah.
inhabitants.
They are
Beasts.
primitive inhabitants as well. There are large beasts, yes, but there are also some primitive inhabitants.
Right.
And
So-
that's the information that I had.
Science officer, is that you?
No, I'm the chief engineer,
Chief
but
engineer.
I do have high science, sir.
All right.
Science
So
officer.
science.
She
Are you
is
science?
medical.
Nope.
That would be it.
She's
Just
medical.
a
We're
win,
driving
yeah.
shoot, sir.
She is.
All right.
Science officer.
Yeah. Can you bring me up to speed on the technological capabilities of the machine residents of that planet.
No. She cannot.
Can I? That's as weird. Can I?
What do I know from what they told me?
From what you know, you just know that they're a warlike species. You know they are a technologically advanced race at war with a primitive race. To be able to get any more information, you guys are going to have to be within scanning range.
Here's
You
what
are
I know.
currently orbiting the previous planet that you were at.
Do we have? Is there any threat in momentum currently stacked?
There is the threat that I get from when the game starts. You have 0 momentum right now because
Okay.
we're new scene, new.
So
whatever.
you get an amount of threat. Okay.
2, 4,
So
So
what,
we're gonna do
what we know
same.
is that currently
That being said,
Yeah.
after today's scene, after the scene that we have that we're going to start today, that will be a level up for you guys. So that's when you'll have your ability to kind of increase your character. We'll take care of that also.
How long will it take to develop a basic cloaking mechanism?
I would have to figure that out. It's going to be a while because you're not even really allowed to have any information on it. So you're going to be starting from kind of a very, very base place.
Even considering that was stationed at Memory Alpha for fucking ever.
Yeah, they're not allowed to have it either.
Illegal tech. Yeah.
So like
We're not allowed, but come on, especially because of my creator who does things
It's illegal.
on the slide.
It's illegal tech.
Yeah,
You'd have to
create
start
AI
from
life
like.
forms. No, we never do that.
You'd have to
So,
start from base. You have the idea of how maybe you would do it, or maybe the idea of how they kind of do it. So you'd have to start from very low location, and it's high tech. It'll take quite a while. That's a good question that I'll have to take some time to figure out.
Before you spend that time figuring it out, just to let everyone know, at the moment, Captain Thralish Azanir is not authorizing the development of said tech.
I just wanted to know
However,
what the
Commander
possibilities.
Xander Kane will happily authorize it. And explain to the captain once it's finished.
So-
If he felt it would be
Who's
prudent
gonna
to
like
have
that?
it and
So,
not need it, then
The
need
purpose
it and
of the
not have
speaking
it.
Spock is being defeated
Yes.
because people are speaking without having the
Yes.
speaking Spock.
Use the speaking spot,
No.
please.
Honestly.
So, at any rate, so you had the speaking Spock.
Yeah, Kevin.
I took it back. Thank you very much.
Why don't you just take it then?
Right.
Respect the Spock.
So,
Lizard.
what we know about this planet is it is covered in a city.
That is correct.
It is a city, technologically advanced city, covering the entire surface of the planet. Underneath that technologically advanced city is a biological planet, which is where the underdwellers, I suppose, live. And probably where those two meet would be where the conflict would be, I would expect.
I believe
Kind
we
of
call
like-
that a hive world, Lieutenant.
Very much like a Dyson sphere.
No idea what the fuck that is.
And that's for these guys.
Cybertron.
Oh, okay.
Cybertron.
so-
How much
A
like
cover-
how
yes.
much like a Dyson sphere?
Is it hollow?
A
now?
world-
Like a
Yeah.
Dyson sphere?
A world covered in this city
Okay.
That's not Dyson sphere.
with like a
Right.
nougaty natural world in the middle.
No kidding, natural world.
So
Is
Oh,
there
soft
a
bits
sun
to
in the
the
middle?
crunchy
no,
bits,
well,
apparently.
more important than
The
that.
sunlight comes through the city enough so that it could scatter into the
Okay.
inner
I'm gonna
world.
get super esoteric. Did anybody ever play Septerra Core?
No.
Never
I
even
didn't
heard
think
of
so.
it.
No, it was a JRPG on the PC. It's not surprising, but okay. So shall I assume then that there's like an unnatural outer layer of like orbital shelf that surrounds this planet, and then there's a gap in between that and the planet? Not like there's a city built on the planet, but
Yes.
like okay, so this is like an orbital platform built around this planet with planet under the orbital platform.
Yeah. So if you play Final Fantasy VII, imagine Midgar.
Yeah. Okay.
Midgar.
Or,
Alright.
or you know, if you
That's
played
In
Septerra
terms I
Core,
can understand.
you were a plebe.
Totally agreed.
Plebe. Everyone is.
That's why no one likes your character. I'm just saying.
This is why you decided that you had to make the fish torpedo, okay?
Fish-
just so we're clear.
We still have the.
The Fucking fish
That's the
torpedo.
second-
Angry mistress.
That you
We
aim
still have-
straight down.
the
Subsonic.
The angry mistress.
nagging wife.
The nagging wife. That's it.
So. understand that there is an orbital platform. Perhaps we should establish where our ship has landed. If it has landed up on the orbital platform, we do not involve ourselves in the conflict with the planet. We could simply make a deal with the local inhabitants of the platform. They seem a logical lot.
It would be against Prime Directive too, I believe, sir.
Oh, these are
Interfering with either.
these are
Bless you.
certainly. Well, we have to answer a few very important questions. Number one, do we recognize artificial intelligence as people?
Are you kidding?
Do we?
I'm asking an out-of-game
Even though it's
question.
not
Out-of-game.
Give me the
Do you
speaking
say that out loud?
Hold on a
No,
second.
this is out of game. I want to know.
Out of
why.
game, it's to me. It's
Yeah.
to me.
I'm talking to him.
Yes,
Do
Starfleet
that.
does.
Okay.
As of this is way after the.
All alien life form, or-
This is way
episode-
after the episode Measure of a Man,
Yep.
where they see if Data is a sentient life form or
Okay.
equipment.
And he won that fucking
Yes.
argument.
These
Which is
are-
why we have Data as a person and why we have the exocomps
Sure.
as
Okay.
people
Which is
here
fine.
as well.
So,
Okay.
the second question. Do we know if this is a warp-capable species? I just.
Join it.
So when, yeah.
I think that's one of
Oh,
the
we're
things
for.
they did tell us.
Warp. Well,
Okay,
then
well,
we
what
don't
for?
have the Prime Directive. Unless, of course, it landed on the surface below. But, sir, I would argue that because they're currently at war with a warp-capable species, that we enter muddy waters, as it were.
We definitely entered muddy waters. We're going to need to get closer. We're going to need. I think that we should look for one of their ships to contact first. If they're capable of Warp 4, there should be ships in the quadrant. So, scan for their ships.
Scanning.
We should order that. We're in the conference room.
I could
Yeah,
probably.
we're still around the same.
Put that in your notes
Okay,
of
we're
things to
still
do
around
after the
that.
conference.
Not there yet.
Question.
Yes.
I know we can send out some sort of like torpedo-like scanner.
Probe.
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 Thank you. Wow. I suck at Turco Bible.
We will get
They
you
also
there.
have-
A
Self-destruct
probe.
attack.
What is the range on that? Yeah, what's the range?
Good question. Do you not have that on your
I'm
items
trying to
list?
find it.
It doesn't
and
say.
I'm pretty sure it's in there somewhere.
For what?
It says there's pros, but I don't think it gives distance on it.
You can set it. I mean, it's not going to go crazy far. It depends on how you set it up. I mean, they did like shoot someone through that
Will it
thing
go
at
to
like
the
several
exocomp?
warp levels.
Well, even if we have to get closer, I just want to know what the range on it is, because I'd rather not be on their scanners and be able to send a probe out
Will it go to the board?
to
plan?
do the sensor sweep for us and pick up the information that we
Trust
need.
us in here.
Let me say yes, and when the time comes, I'll give you a difficulty to like set it up or to shoot it or whatever. So let's say for the time being yes from here, sure, but it'll be difficult and it'll take some time. The closer you get, the easier it'll be.
Okay. Good to know.
Does that answer your question fully?
Do the scanning because she has
Enough.
sensors. I don't have
Enough?
sensors.
Okay.
So that's functional.
Communications.
Yeah. So, Lieutenant Harmony, if you can scan for ships when
We get there.
we get closer.
Yes, sir. I will launch a probe and do a sensor sweep upon the planet.
Beautiful. Other suggestions for things we need to take into account and consider as we approach this sentient machine, warlike, technologically advanced Dyson sphere planet.
Well, so obviously that's certainly a loaded bunch of adjectives,
Is
shall
it-
we say. We don't know what the principal programming or social decorum of this race is. They could be programmed specifically for war. We don't know what the nature of the people below is. It could be that they were the initial creators, or it could be that they're from somewhere entirely different. We don't know whether they will have any desire to give us what we want, or whether they will fight us upon contact. We must find out more
This is going
information. sir.
forever.
Yes.
Discretion in this case, I feel, is the better part of valor.
I will, once we get closer into range, I will scan for their communications to see how hostile this race seems, and see if I can garner a little bit more about their interpersonal relations.
Excellent idea,
Yeah.
Lieutenant Zwenya.
I would suggest that, for those of you guys that are doing this right now, just take quick note of the things that you want to do.
Lieutenant Valak.
Yes.
Yes.
I suggest we follow the course first contact protocol with both species. so we maintain a neutral stance. Otherwise, we may show favor towards one or the other. We
Well,
don't know where
we,
the ship is.
we are, again, muddied water, sir. We have a presumably primitive race.
We may be coming back this way, is the problem. And we may need their assistance for further technical updates.
Further note,
But again, sir,
yes, you will. Every planet that you pass on the way out, unless you take a very circular way back, you're going to be passing all the way back. Which is why I'm glad you guys left on a good note with the fish people.
Me too.
Return to the sector to Starfleet.
what were
What's
they
happening?
gonna do?
Don't ask that question.
They have good technology.
They probably have a collar and a Leviathan. Okay.
Yeah, the tech-
Space Leviathan.
they put a
There were
bubble on
space
him.
jellyfish in Next
Oh, yeah.
Gen. First episode.
There are space whales. You're telling
Space
me.
jellyfish.
Encounter at Farpoint.
We may also want to upgrade one of our ships into a more flight-worthy shuttle in case we do need to go down.
We
planet
only
side.
have one show.
We have-
Why does everyone
No, we
go
don't.
with the nuclear option?
It's not a nuclear option. No, be prepared is my case.
Hey, and it wasn't my idea even.
Though Lieutenant Harmony brings up a good point, we could put a nuclear weapon on the ship.
So, as we get closer, Lieutenant Valek, I want you to analyze their tactical capabilities
Of course, sir.
in the event that they become hostile.
Of course.
Right. Other recommendations?
I suggest we use Lieutenant Harmony as our emissary, sir.
We'll wait to see if that is something that we should do upon initiating contact with them.
Indeed, sir.
So,
As you say.
I hate to be the one to say
I
it,
thought
but
permission coming
Commander
on.
Kane might actually be onto something.
Why would you hate to say that?
please,
the crew want me
please explain.
Well, if
Contact conflict with the droid.
depending on how their communications are going and how their interpersonal relations are, if the inhabitants of the
We
technologically
call them
advanced
people.
if the inhabitants of the technologically advanced society are in fact at war with the biological society, and the technologically advanced society is only non-biological life forms, then perhaps having a non-biological life form to make first contact with them instead of the rest of us might be a more peaceful solution and might garner a higher level of respect.
I believe what Lieutenant Itis is trying to say, sir, is it's possible these machines were programmed to wipe out all biological life.
That is not at all what I was trying to say.
You don't have a spot.
Is that the nuclear option? Are we drinking? I'm not sure.
Sir, I feel that there are a lot of assumptions being thrown around at the moment, and it feels as though a lot of fear is being equated into non-realistic scenarios. I would advise you to take this under. I don't even know what to say at the moment. Just
Fear not, Lieutenant Harmony.
Freaking racist.
Initial contact will be made by me as the captain of the ship,
yes, sir.
following first contact protocols, as we do not have an official ambassador on board.
Yes, sir.
Good advice, sir.
I mean,
Well,
it's not like I have
So many
interpersonal
different ways.
relations focus or
Oh.
anything.
Sir, would you like me to also, before we even get close, scan where the salvager ship is so that we may enter it at the closest possible point
Bless
to
you.
it?
Yes, Lieutenant Harmony, of course.
I agree.
Yes, sir.
You'll be able to do that once you get within that probe range, scanning range, things like that. So you might want to write that in your little note there.
All right.
Well, I'm assuming once I send the probe, I'm also sending it to pick that information up.
Thank you all. Make the bread.
Make the bread.
Let's go.
All right.
Come
So
on!
you are all still currently
Harmony goes back to
orbiting
your right
orbiting
hand,
the
personal
planet. If there's anything that you guys would like to do here, this as a GM note. Remember, you guys have started at 0 momentum. I'm just going to give you guys one round to find something to do. And,
Build momentum.
you know, so a good example would be, you know, one of the things that you said is like, you know, see if we could do anything to the ship. The previous ship, or the Spectre, took some damage from the Leviathan when it took like a pot shot at it. So, you know, somebody go do some repairs on the Spectre, try to do some sort of tactical analysis, I don't know. Figure something out.
Build up
Oh.
shields.
Sell me something.
I wouldn't mind running a final sensor sweep over the nest of the
Mhm.
Leviathan to see how it's doing now that we have stopped fussing with it.
Yeah, see how that helps.
Sell me something. You guys get one round,
It
so
builds
you
us
know
momentum.
one task
That's how it
each.
helps us.
Easy
I want to
scan.
scan for
It's an easy scan.
And it's what
general
Starfleet would do
communications of
because
the
I wanna make
water
sure.
planet.
Just generally what they're talking about.
Right, just generally what they're talking about. What's
Okay.
their current news, things
Cool.
like that.
Roll it off. What do you
Question.
have? What do you have for that?
Science control.
What does it tell you to do for that?
Oh, I don't know. It doesn't tell me to. Oh, no, that's like hailing frequencies open, things like that. It doesn't have an actual like this.
Failing frequencies open
Okay.
is a task 0, I think.
Yeah.
All right, task 0. Roll it off for me. Whatever you need for it.
Question: the star charts.
We're
that
gonna give it 1 actually. Difficulty 1, just so you know.
Okay,
overkill
so would
it.
that be like control
The-
science, engineering?
Yes.
The star charts that Ginger acquired,
Mm-hmm.
do they show enough of the immediate area where we can plan a more direct route to the planet, and that's something that you guys can do as con?
What an ingenious idea of a good way to gain momentum.
So
Would I
people
get-
that know con,
A
you
computer
guys do
dice?
that.
There's a-
No,
there's a
just
better
you're
guy
just
for
throwing
that.
naturals. Just 2 dice.
People
It's
that
just,
know con.
Crap,
When
I
we
know
say-
that too.
you
I
said
don't know if you guys have picked up
engineering
on this, but
control
now that
or
Rick has
science
brought up a
control?
character that does the only thing I was
Tell it to me.
marginally
What-
better at
what's-
than
what's
anyone else. I'm gold bricking my way through the
I'm
rest
gonna go with
Yeah,
engineering because I'm scanning. I'm going through the
Notice
computer.
how I
anyway.
don't have a placard card. I'm just
Why do you have 2? You're only supposed to have 1. You gotta give 1 up.
No, he's got
That's
a
a
whole
lot.
character that's, but trust me.
One success.
Here, you
I
got
can-
30 now.
I can.
Congratulations,
I don't
here you
know.
go.
I mean, sure.
Yay.
Far
No,
better.
no,
at-
no.
Select.
Literally, we're all supposed to have
The
1.
voice is down to just being the crap out of people, to be honest.
All right, so wait. So everybody gets it.
Yeah.
So you hear some chatter about how the Leviathan's been kind of agitated lately since your new visitors arrived. However, it seems to have calmed down ever since they left. You get a general chatter of they were interesting beings. They meant well, even though they kind of made a mess. But regardless, everything seems to be okay. They seem like pretty alright beings.
Yay!
The can we also gather info from that?
Sure, mister.
Like, I would think that these people being close-ish to the
Tulath.
other
Tulath.
planet, to Tulath, that they would have records of encounters with them.
Their history only
Okay.
goes back 400 years.
Yeah, I'll give you some.
As far as I know.
Yeah,
give you
but they
some-
could have had encounters with them yesterday.
Certainly.
I'll give you some. They've the extreme end of their scanners has shown just patrol ships in the general vicinity of their
Patrol
space.
ships from
Go
Planet
out.
Tula?
From planet Tulath, yeah. So in the general vicinity of what would be considered Tulathian space. So they just kind of get like blips in and out of more or less the ships that would be there. Nothing too specific, just knowing that they patrol their space.
Okay.
So that's part of what you rolled. So
Cool.
Did
That's
we build
definitely
momentum?
useful
Looks like we did.
Yes.
We got one. All right. Very good.
If you'd like, I can do repairs to the
That'd be
Spectre
great.
so we can gain some momentum.
Sure,
Yeah,
let's
you
do
can
that.
for,
Um,
test flight too.
this is gonna be-
Engineering and control.
So you're gonna have some time for this because you guys are just patrolling. Not a lot of damage that's been done. So just roll me 2 dice, difficulty of 1.
Thank God I get to re-roll that. At least one of them, because I'm using the ship. I have
Sure.
a 16.
You're using a ship.
You're using
Yeah,
shit.
that actually is a
He's on the ship,
success.
so he's in the ship.
Okay.
Ship.
You got 1 success.
Yay.
And another success.
Two
So there's
successes.
a
2
momentum.
successes. So 1 you needed, and then 1 momentum you banked.
So do I need to do any more repairs, or
That
is
the
it good?
the Spectre is now at full shields, full
That's
health.
not what I wanted to hear, sir.
What did you want to
Because
hear?
then I would roll 3 dice and
Do-
would have
do-
backed more
yeah.
momentum.
Anyway.
Now again, this is your gimme round, so you guys can
I
kind of
know,
get some
give me
momentum.
As
As a side note, I did
really
not
should
have
just
to.
went out
I did
before
not
once.
have to give you a gimme round.
Sure.
I know.
All right. Who's next?
That's what you do.
We got.
Presence command.
What are you doing?
I'm going to address the new recruits.
Yeah, I'm not
Oh,
curious what's
you
happening
mean the
with that.
prisoners?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And recruits.
Yeah.
Recruits, yeah. The
So
person.
got key.
The ones that have been vetted by Lieutenant Valek,
Oh, the 40
who's
fucking
clearly
people.
going to brief me on what he's discovered in the last 48 hours of him essentially torturing
Training.
them.
Yeah. So if you recall, if you recall, they were captured. They threw up their arms. They're like, we don't get paid enough for this. We're just basic mercenaries. They acknowledge that they are lost in space and time.
Yeah.
They want none of
I
that.
didn't even know what you were
They
gonna say.
just want to go home and not be prisoners.
So
There it is.
Valek is going to give me his vetting notes if there's any useful personnel amongst the
Don't want to stay on board.
particulars. I will address
And
them
just hop
separately.
off.
Go ahead.
But by and large, I'm going to give them the speech of, we all find ourselves in an unfortunate circumstance. We all want to get back home. You guys keep your heads down and shut up and don't cause any problems, and everything will be fine. We will give you what liberties this vessel can afford, provided that you prove that you can be trusted with that. And we will get you back home. We are Starfleet.
Starfleet.
Drink! We have not been doing our job about doing all the things we're
Alright,
supposed to
What's
do.
That-
this B shit? Oh, yeah.
So just 2
I'm
dice.
spending a momentum.
Just this is to earn. Okay. Spending a momentum is just 2 dice, 1 difficulty.
That'll be 4 successes.
4 successes. So you net 3.
Sass me.
1, 2. We're left with the captain and Valek.
Actually, I will send out.
Also, I'm going to tell JK to start working on modifying the
Fish
nag-
trio?
start modifying the nagging wife to work on robots.
Gotcha.
I offer no more insight
Do
other than
that.
that.
Just get it done.
Get to work. Make them.
Make the
Make
bread.
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 Wait, what about robots?
Don't worry
What
about
about
it.
it?
What the fuck?
You're a
Actually,
person,
I will
not a
send out
robot.
Lieutenant
I'm
Reese.
not a
We're
robot
testing out
yet.
the ship, make sure
Person.
everything's running ship shape.
Mhm.
I'll take it on invasive run maneuvers.
Where?
Gotta run that by him.
Because if we warp away,
I would like Lieutenant Reese to actually take the Sub-Lieutenant Reese to take out the ship.
second.
Go ahead and
lieutenant.
check. Sub-Lieutenant.
Why do we call them
Because
sub-lieutenants?
he's
He's
a
not a
Marine, they have
lieutenant.
their own ranking.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They're grunts. They're foot soldiers, what they are.
What? Chief?
Private first class.
Chief Reese.
It's Sub-Lieutenant.
Security
That's actually the.
He's enlisted.
No, it's fine.
Well,
I thought in Star Trek,
Valek-
at least was the second.
Valek is security chief.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Reese is the merman.
Yeah.
Sub-lieutenant.
Yeah, Marines have their own ranking, like the Coast Guard.
But
Go
because
figure.
he's a fish person, it sounds really derogatory.
Yeah. It's
As you talk up
So
our AI unit to go meet the
At
other
any
AI
rate.
units.
Focus.
At any rate,
I would like to send them out to check the ship out, make sure everything's ship
who's
shape.
talking to me right now?
Valek.
Okay.
Yeah, Sub-Lieutenant, no. Send them out to go ahead and
He's
run
being
full
loud
basic
British.
maneuvers to the ship, make sure
Yeah,
everything is
British,
ship shape, that everything can be handled by the ship in case we do need it to get out.
Have you verified with Lieutenant Harmony that all the repairs have been made to the Spectre and that it's fully functional?
I will follow up with that, make sure
All
it's-
repairs have been made, sir. The ship is fully functional.
It's almost like she's listening to us, sir.
Dahude.
Yes.
Just take your time.
Okay. Yep. Oh, you dropped something. You better get down there.
God damn it.
Is there anything for,
All right.
That being the
That,
case,
that was
then-
totally. That's what she said.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey-oh.
All right, so you're
You're
taking the
welcome.
ship
I feel like
on.
I'm missing some.
You're taking the ship out on
Basic
minor
maneuvers.
maneuvers. So just a basic control
control con? Yeah.
control con. Yeah.
Which I'm at 15. So.
Just 2, I suppose, because you're putting it through its
You're running it through the middle.
yeah, you're running
Normal
it through,
basic
Putting it through
maneuvers
its
is one.
paces, sir.
putting it through its paces too.
One.
Yeah, one.
One. All right. Well, that's what we call success at a cost. Yeah, you put it through its paces. It
That's
seems
like
to be in
needed-
working order.
You needed 2
Yeah.
Yeah,
to put it through its
because
paces?
Basic maneuvers is just one normally. So.
Not
yeah,
really
but a
normally
basic,
our ship
basic
either.
maneuvers is kind of like, in battle. Right now, from what you were telling me, you kind of wanted to make sure everything's ship shape, which makes sense to me.
This
You're
is
like
a used
you're
car.
pushing it as hard as you can to
That's
see
why I want to upgrade this
what's going
crap.
on.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got it. You got it.
It's working.
You succeed at the cost. And then the last one is captain.
Mhm.
What would you like to do?
Am I doing something?
You may do something.
I may
You
do
don't
something.
have to.
You
Do
don't have
something, make somebody else do something,
Make bread.
make the bread.
Make some bread.
There's Toblerone. I'm sure he's waiting for some kind of order.
He
It's
Yeah.
what
is
I said.
busy.
Kielbasa.
You could make somebody else do something again.
You make someone else make bread.
Nah, I think we're good.
You good?
Yeah,
We
we
got
got
the
floor,
replicator make some
we got
bread.
floor momentum. I think we're good.
All right. So you
You know,
start
it's got
making.
like 12 threat to start with.
I'm the gold bricker here, Kevin.
Oh,
We can't
I
have
think
two gold
That's
brickers.
command.
yes, we can.
Settle the score.
Particularly
So you
when
start
one
making
gold
your
worker
way
just thinks
Why
he's-
away from the
building
planet?
on theme?
I'm sure you send your fond farewells to the fish
Not
people of
at
New
all.
Karthar.
Of course.
No.
And the quick opinion, like I
That's up to the diplomatic corps.
That's me.
And you start your week-long journey to make it to New Karthar. It would take about a week at maximum warp. That's how long it would take for maximum warp. Just kind of knock back some more to add more time. This is your call. You could slow down a little bit to kind of,
just close enough
So
to send a
pa-
probe.
power's not too much. This is your call. You know how this
Check
would
out
work.
the
Oh,
show.
sure.
No,
Lay
that's it.
lay in a course for Trokthar.
Too lot.
2 lots.
Tuna!
Did you start the course?
Too
as
hot,
one
sir.
as your thing?
He's always
That's
listening.
good.
Right.
Actually, yeah.
That's what I asked you guys to
I'm sorry.
do.
You got sidetracked.
To do what?
Set the course for the next
To
planet.
set the straightest course.
Don't
to
worry, the
the
captain's
next-
ordering you to do just that.
Right, for Ginger to do that.
Ginger is not
Oh,
about
here's,
help.
Don't worry,
here's the
Reese will take care of
charts.
it.
Reese is on the helm. I'll make sure he does a good job.
Ginger is
All right.
Anyway, lay in a course
Regardless,
xenobiologist.
we're going.
for
2 lots.
Two
2
lots.
lots.
Do
Where's
not
that
for
again?
2
Oh, of
lots.
course, here we go.
Thank you,
Warp
Nobler.
3.5.
3.5.
Yeah.
That's to.
Not quite
Therese.
maximum warp.
Well, I mean, you don't want to be burning the candle at both
Right,
ends.
right.
During our journey, I want to have every single crew member and every single person on board this ship. I want to get them into the medbay and do a full bioscan. of
I'm
them.
gonna be locked.
Racist.
I'm gonna be hooked up to the ship. Sorry.
Well,
Too
not
busy.
you.
Too busy.
You don't have
She's not a
bio.
mechanic, sorry.
Too busy.
No, I'm not a
what-
biomechanic anyway.
What would be the purpose?
I'd
No,
like to
bio
just make sure
mechanic.
that everybody is in good health
Space aids.
and
sir.
to make sure that we
Space
have
aids.
Space
As the
It's
end.
like-
documentation.
Guys, respect the Spock.
I would dare say
Always has
space crabs would be the.
I want to make sure that we have that everybody is in good health and that we have established a good baseline in case something like that Neanderthal disease happens again.
Seems reasonable to me. Make the bread.
Space crabs.
As all the ensigns leave medbay. Fuck.
One by one by one.
I had my test.
Does she
last
have to
month.
use 2 fingers?
She's inserting subcutaneous explosive
Well,
devices
that's the
into
whole
everything.
thing.
Someone gets it.
So, side note.
That's
Side
what she
note,
said.
Side note.
Oh.
Side note. Oh, I gotta sneeze.
Before you ask me a question, ask yourself, is this a GM question or a captain question? Remember that most questions are going to go through him if it's in-game stuff that you're going to be doing there. If it's something about the system or whatever, then it's me.
Okay.
Yeah, makes sense.
So was that a GM question or a
That was a
Me
him question.
Okay.
So the GM question would be, can I?
More alcohol.
The answer is yes.
As I mean.
Will you be allowed to? That's him.
Okay. So I can get like
Okay,
while I'm doing that I can get like the computer to store all of these scans, right?
Can you? Yes.
Cool.
Will you be allowed
Shine
to?
says
That
we
is
should
your
be
job.
drinking more,
Right.
guys.
We should be, yes.
I'm pretty-
So like I said, can you?
Okay,
Yes.
yeah.
Come on,
Will you be allowed to? Of
Yeah.
course, because that is your job. So as a side note,
Side note.
10, there's 10.
Bye, bud.
I'm already at 10. How much have you been doing in your lives?
there's certain things, especially you as the chief medical officer, there's certain things that the captain cannot stop you from doing.
Like relieving him of command.
Like relieving him of command if
And
you think that
believe
he's
me,
physically
Xander will back that play.
or psychologically unsound to do it. If he's saying, all right, well, I need him at the helm, and you're like, he has space aids and is dying, and we need him. We need to check him out. You supersede
I
his
override.
order.
No,
I really hope that the captain comes down with some fucking disease so that you
Basic.
can actually use that as an excuse
I know.
to take over command.
I'll be rolling off from planet to planet and see if any of you guys get
assume
diseases.
command. She relieves him of.
Oh, I'm
he
sorry.
Then he takes.
And then you take
takes
command, and then
So
we
you.
relieve you
Oh,
for
we're-
being
she-
unfit for
Believe me,
command.
she'll be in the break before
Mutiny!
she ever gets to say those words.
That's where security steps in with the rest of his crew.
All right.
The moment he's relieved of command, the first one in the break is her.
Becca,
Commander Kane, you should understand that the first thing that I would do is confine you to quarters and then
Which would be a smart coup.
So at any rate,
at
you
any
are
rate,
psychologically
Before
everyone
unfit.
comes
I
down
feel
to
like that's
Back to the
a
game.
made-up thing in the new movie, so it's not real.
back to the game.
right, so back to the game. So
Emotionally
we've laid in our course. We're
Right.
at 3.5. We're traveling. So unless she's examining all of the prisoners as well as the crew
Yes.
to make sure that they
Yes.
have
Yep,
not
everyone.
Diplomatic
Yes,
guests.
Literally everyone on the ship
contracted
except for
any-
Harmony.
Respect to Spock.
The more interrupting that we do, the less gameplay we get.
Also, as a side note, I've been
Side note.
thinking about this,
Shit.
and I was gonna give it today to kind of work it out, and I've come up with my decision. Anytime shit gets derailed, I'm gonna start taking momentum.
Oh.
All right. I mean, have fun. Obviously, that's the point of this. But for example, the captain is trying to stay in game and do the thing.
Yeah.
Derailing, that would take momentum.
I feel
That
like-
sound fair?
I feel like I'm the only one who spends momentum frivolously.
Yeah.
So
You're also the one that derails us all the time.
I'm also
No,
the one who
that's
earns
not
us
true.
momentum with my momentum. It's a gamble.
It's a gamble. All right, back to the
I'm
captain.
really good at gambling.
So,
Does it count?
unless there is
Does it
something
count?
else that people want to do, I think we can
Skip
pass
there.
time to whatever
I would agree.
happens in the story.
I
All
would
right,
like
we
to-
are passing.
Yes. I would like to spend time now. It's a delicate dance here.
Oh God, here we go.
So, I'm making sure that these people understand that they are guests, that we will make them feel like guests, but that they are not us. But I also want to make sure that they understand gradually over time, this is going to take, what, a week? 2 weeks?
About a week or so. Yeah.
A week.
Oh
okay.
well, we'll say a week and a half because it's 3.5.
I'm going to stick my nose in and I'm going to endear myself to these new people over the course of that time. Like twice, maybe, not a lot.
Morale's everything.
Morale is everything. So that's the thing. I want to make sure that they feel like I'm a person that they can talk to, so that they're not like if the festering mutiny rolls around, like I'm not
Make
the
sure-
one they know they have to kill.
You need to help me help you.
I'm not saying I'm turning them into my own little mutiny machine. I'm just saying
You're not-
that
not
if
saying
there's
that.
a mutiny, I don't want to be the guy blowing out the airlock.
In your second time.
Actually, I have a question for the
All right.
captain.
So after your after the past like week or so,
I'll play cards. with
you're
these
popping
guys.
in and out.
I'll lose.
Insanity.
I'll do whatever we have to do.
So
No, I'm-
they have
I just
become
need to stand for a bit.
more and more comfortable, more and more comfortable with the idea that you guys are not gonna flush them out the
The airlock,
The
right?
airlock.
We would have done that. I'll make that joke. We would have done it by now. No, we really would have. If we were going to do that.
So they feel a little bit more comfortable with the fact that you're not gonna do that.
Right, I
So
don't
they
bring
know.
Tobar.
Yeah.
So
I
They
would
know.
I'm going to bring Tobar and then dismiss Tobar immediately. So they know.
So they know they're not in any immediate threat.
Yeah.
They're working. They're doing their job that you kind of gave them.
Yeah.
They're just kind of they're keeping their head down,
Yeah.
doing what they're told. They just want to go
Also, I'm
home.
going to tug JK's choke chain at one point across that time period because that guy's out of control. That guy's a fucking. Now that
He's
he
a lunatic.
actually has lab boys, that guy's fucking out of control.
Oh yeah, he's building stuff. He should be.
All right,
running.
I
He's
believe there's
adopted
one more.
3 blue
Actually-
shirts.
All right, Becca.
Do any of these guys have? Do they have anything like similar to the kinds of things that Taserface had in him? I'm also wanting to like. Is there any interesting sickness going around between them? Things like that.
Who's buggering whom?
We're running the same thing Taserface has, but bigger.
I don't feel like doing that. I got like a 99% on that. You could have gotten an infectious disease. I don't feel like doing that.
You got it.
It wasn't 100.
Pro tip is a GM game. That's not what he would do.
That's not what you do.
Roll those
Confused,
percentiles.
wait.
Think to yourself highs or lows, and then roll.
Yeah.
And then you decide what that means. Like, if you had rolled a 100, something entirely unique would have happened. But what that is up to you. Like, this one guy appears to be an asymptomatic carrier of space AIDS. He could be the cure. Like, but that doesn't have to be a thing that involves anything right now. You just be like,
Sure.
oh, by the way,
I'm gonna make a
this
note.
guy carries the cure for space AIDS.
Yeah, and you can set 1% too. You don't have to set 50-50.
Right.
So.
You can be
Here
100%, you decide.
Far forward
Everything
refers to
goes.
as space.
That booty!
That booty!
Health
What's your-
thing. All right, so let's put that in your back pocket for now. Make a note of it for the future. You find some sort of interesting health thing for one of them.
I actually have a question for the captain.
We will find something on that later.
Okay.
I don't feel like doing that today.
What's our security protocol?
And that's
for
among
size?
the scavengers, right?
Yeah, scavengers.
Do we have people stationed inside the bay, or because they're in a cargo bay essentially? So do we have guys in catwalks with guns, or do we have them outside the door?
What's your recommendation as the chief of security?
As chief of security, I would suggest leaving at least 4 guards at all times because there's about 40 of them. As long as they can hit the comm badges, we can have the rest of the security that's waiting outside to come in if we need to.
So
They seem
inside
peaceful.
or outside?
4 inside, 8 outside. Or 4 inside, 8 outside. Sorry.
That's what you said.
So 4 on the catwalks,
Right.
inside, 8 outside the doors where they can't see them, but they're there to come in if they need to.
How many
Do you,
security
do you
guys do we
think
have
we
on our ship?
actually need
But we have like 100 crew apparently, right?
60?
Right now you're at
Not
max
including
crew
these
with
guys.
them. Yeah.
I think it's a waste
With-
of resources.
Yeah.
Right, I was thinking perhaps 2 outside, and if you want 4 inside, that would
I
be
want to
fine.
show a presence just to make sure that they know what's up.
Because we're Starfleet.
No, it's the
No.
exact opposite. We're not supposed to be so military.
Well, but that's the thing though. That's him. It's just like fucking Worf. Like, you know, they'll meet him. Ready torpedoes, sir. I didn't say that. you call me fucking tank.
Why are you ready torpedoes?
But that's Worf's job to be like, all right, I got torpedoes
He
ready.
wants to be
You
prepared.
know I got torpedoes, right?
And then it's the captain's job to be like,
Right, so
You're
So
here.
two and
I need you
four.
back here.
let's have 2 outside, 2 inside, with regular comm checks between them.
Of course.
So if something happens, we'll be aware of it, even if.
I would also suggest that I got a stupid Blind King song in my head. Zoenia actually goes ahead and checks them for any kind of cybernetic devices or anything of the sort.
That's what she's
Yeah.
doing.
Just in case.
she already did
Okay.
that.
I heard diseases, but I want to make sure there's no.
Did we cure
That was
space
that was
AIDS?
her original thing. Then I got the roll off, got crazy space aids or whatever it might be. That we'll address at some other point.
Yeah, she's
And
done
maybe
a
it'll
full-
be some sort of next week's adventure.
Yeah, like I don't want to find like a piece of a nano machine.
I think you
inside
should
one
write
of
the
them.
next log.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm gonna
It
have
appears this
to.
guy's been in the
I'm
Phantom
gonna have to
Zone.
figure out how the heck to do this mess.
So you got an interesting thing.
Shine, if you're still watching, I would love for you to come
Sorry.
up with another drinking rule because we don't seem to be triggering ours very often right
Apparently.
now.
We've gotten too smart about it.
Just so when, yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna run to the
Accidentally
bathroom while
the
you
whole
guys
flashlight.
stay in
The
character.
whole
Oh
flesh.
yeah?
And
Dad booty!
That
It
booty
is-
That
again.
There we go. There it is.
and Rob's gonna make me a drink for a moment.
You got it, buddy.
Oh, there you go.
You fool.
We're doing wrong in close.
Make it a triple.
Thank you, bro.
He would have made you that drink
Yeah,
even without the
well.
momentum.
You want Alderaan, the Death Star,
And
Tatooine,
he takes
Endor,
personal
the
pleasure
Beast.
in
You get
making
off.
sure that we're all
Sure,
invited.
that's where my people are from.
Coco Fang, I believe, was the thing.
Hoth is the ice planet.
Ancient Mariner.
That was kind of my fault. But
Right.
That's-
That's where Andorians are from, is an ice planet.
yeah.
See, the danger of these cups is they're so large that it's like 5 drinks.
I know, and then I never know how much alcohol I'm pouring into them, and I keep pouring more and more every subsequent drink I make.
That's why I pour the ice and then Coke for like the last. I know that's the reverse way, but
Well, Gabe doesn't have to drive anywhere, and he's
Nope,
in charge
I
of this
was
game.
pour
so
the
I feel like I'm
alcohol
motivated to get him
first.
shit-faced.
that's.
I wonder if there's any way to tap into their. I know she wants to tap into the communication system. I was thinking about it, but also to see if there's any way that we can tap into like any of their records while we're in space, if that's possible.
Or it's a violation of
Kevin.
standard peace protocols.
Yeah.
That's too strong, let me know.
Y'all can you guys are still so set on taking all those Starfleet rules and applying them to this quadrant of space which no one knows about Starfleet.
I'm with you,
There
Harvey.
is
Looking for
no
conjunction.
sort of
Yeah,
law
the old way.
established.
We're Starfleet.
Hey,
We're
we're
Starfleet.
We are Starfleet.
You-
But we're
That's our-
Starfleet in a quadrant of space that does not know what the fuck Starfleet
make
is.
it-
But
Yeah.
they
Which-
also apply 'cause there's
You're
laws.
looking. Kevin
Which-
is the Admiralty.
Which Star Trek has he been having you watch?
Yeah.
All I've seen is
Have you
Next
seen
Generation.
Voyager? Have you seen?
No.
Yeah. Okay,
Voyager.
so
All
what?
I've seen is Next Generation and the new movies and some
Jane
old
wade
movies.
through
So what is
every
happening-
Starfleet rule out the window on episode 1.
No,
Nope.
she did not.
Out the window.
No,
She
she did
adjusted
not.
some things, but
She
didn't-
tried to hold on to it
a bunch of
to
outlaws.
the best of her ability.
And
Right.
that's why the series ended just.
And she had the
No.
support of her crew. I don't.
I have
She
followed
had the
every
support
single
of
order
her
you've
crew,
ever
which was
taken.
made up of, by the way, terrorists she conscripted.
Right. She conscripted them
Terrorists!
because she had to.
Bad booty!
And she turned them into Starfleet.
Bullshit.
Ish.
Yeah, she did actually.
Bull.
As close
Those
as
are
she
the Chakotay-
could.
As close as she
Those are the
could.
Chakotay.
Sure.
I actually believe, even though at the
And I love
time
Jade. I think she
everyone gave it a
also,
lot of
there's a
shit,
Borg on
I
board that
actually
ship,
really
by the
did
way.
enjoy
Oh,
Voyager.
I
thought it
really
was
liked
good.
Voyager.
Because there's a lot of different ways that you could see the different Star Treks. You know, like original series is cowboys in space. The next one's
Yeah.
just diplomats in space.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
DS9 is just like politics and war, and then Voyager's more about family. It was literally like 60
It was-
people,
was.
and every time somebody died,
It was much closer.
it's like report in Next Generation report. We got like 15 casualties on deck. Oh, that's unfortunate. And Voyager's like, yeah, somebody died. Holy shit, I knew them.
Because we
I promised I was gonna get them
Because there's
home.
only like 40
We've only got
people.
a
And
handful
that's
of
the
people
size
here.
of our fucking crew right now.
Yes.
Like, if
Yes.
anyone dies, even an ensign that we don't even know the name of, it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Right.
I knew that
I
guy.
had lunch with him
Like,
once.
It's also worth
shit.
noting that in, I want to say it was episode 5 or 6 of Voyager, she traded replicator technology to a non-warp capable race.
Oh, yes.
Shit, like, I understand, extreme circumstances.
At the moment,
Wow.
we have the mechanism to get home.
Yeah.
We just have to fix it.
Yes.
She didn't have the mechanism to get home.
Do you ready?
Yeah, we know it's
They had
not
to figure
that.
out how to live
She
there
was
forever.
the Admiralty.
Whoa. Again, even though a player, we know that we need to fix the Banshee's Cry and we can get home, but our characters don't know that if we were to create this, you know,
That's exactly what
No,
my character believes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
it
that,
doesn't mean we're going to end up back in any sort of recognizable space.
I know
believe
It's
in
gonna
her.
take us somewhere else.
there is a belief.
Quantum leap.
There's a
Quantum
belief.
leap.
You guys kind of put
God.
2 and 2 together. The Banshee's Cry set off the thing.
Right,
You got
original
sucked in through the
episode.
wormhole, and now there's a belief that you can
Multiple
fix it.
fires,
You can fix it. And now there's the belief that if you go back there and you set it off again, that it should open and it should send you back.
But there's nothing that tells us that it's going to send us back to the same quadrant of space that we know. It
That
can send us
is-
to a completely different place that we have no
That's a bit of a
That is correct,
If I knew the
but
signs, I'd do
But
it.
no
then,
idea.
as a machine, I don't assume you would understand. But
How fucking dare
it's what we would call a leap of faith.
yes.
All right.
I believe that's where everyone's at. And to be
Captain.
honest, in Voyager, they're like, we believe that we will get home. They had nothing to back that up.
They're-
They're
well,
like, you got 120
They
years
had
to get
science.
home.
They said it's going to take us about 100 years.
But they still
I'll be
believe.
alive. You motherfuckers will be dead.
They believe that they're
Yeah.
gonna
You and your weak
All right,
science
so-
human body.
Bring it back in 3,
Actually-
2, 1, and we're back.
I do have a
Yes.
quick player question because
Player
I missed the one session that we had.
Go
How
for
many
it.
ships do we actually have with us?
You have the
That
ship
was
that you
like
are
we
We
have
in,
have one ship.
and you have the
And
We have
Spectre.
enough room in a single shuttle bay to hold a single ship.
But
And
Which
only if
is-
it's smaller than our
But didn't
current
other
ship.
ships come through with us? I thought
Yes.
had.
They
Those
fucking
are the
That's
ships.
Through the wormhole,
You have-
yeah.
Yeah, you have one of those ships,
Yeah.
which you have Taserface's
Taserface?
old ship,
Yeah.
which is now redubbed the Spectre.
Right.
That
Which
is the
is-
one
that I
ship
got.
Which
inside
is the
of
only
your docking
ship we
bay.
can fit inside this ship.
Oh, question.
All the
Cannot
other
fit
ships
the
that you're
period. We
looking
cannot
for-
fit multiple ships
Yeah.
here.
All the other ships that you're looking for are almost exact replicas
Yeah.
of Taserface's ship.
Yeah, just like
They
that.
have the components that you need to fix your ship, fix the Banshee's Cry, and attempt to go home.
Question.
Yes.
Since we're spending a week in space traveling to this destination, Could I also try to pick up the trail of those that came through with us and see where they fucking went?
You may attempt it, yes.
Okay.
Because I don't want to lose track of those people. I know that there was a trail that they left, but I don't know how.
And I definitely
Fire
want to see if they all went to the same place or if they split up.
Yeah. That's good to
Make
know.
bread.
Like an ambush.
Make the.
That's
I will
actually-
make the bread,
Make the bread.
sir.
Give me a center sweep on that while
Center
I talk
sweep.
to you.
Would you
Okay.
like any assistance
You're
with that,
talking to
Harmony?
me?
Yes, you
It's
wanted
reason
my
plus
attention?
science.
Oh, I was
If you
trying
like,
to get
yes.
Okay.
everybody's attention.
Focus.
He had asked a player question,
Yeah.
and people that were not the GM were answering.
Yes.
So it's like,
Focus. Yeah.
How do
That's
I?
always- that's why I look for him.
How do I assist
Is that how
Harmony?
you would do it?
You
That-
roll what?
That's how I
A
would do
die.
You roll a dice.
A die.
One die with whatever it is that you're assisting.
What was it? Reason what?
Well, I'm using reason and science. You just roll a die, and I don't know what you would.
How do you believe that you could help her?
She knows communications, right?
Yeah, I know
So-
communications. So is that?
you can monitor for
Yeah.
communications
Yeah.
between the ships and triangulate that between.
Or use the sensors to
what she's
help
doing.
Check
me check their
I
trail.
And that would be
Also
reason engineering?
triangulate from a single.
Well, you only roll one die, so.
We'll send out probes.
But you take those two things to get your score. The score. that
I
you're
know
trying
I do, but she's.
I'm
to
only
get.
rolling one.
She's
so
only
you
using
can
one
die.
die, but you're still using reason engineering to get the
Yeah,
score.
I
you're
know. I
trying to
still
hit.
need to use
Okay,
reason.
so reason engineering.
I actually have to use reason science.
so
for
Becca?
sensor speed.
So for future reference, you
And
have
the
to
ship's,
sell
sensor
it to me.
science.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, you can't be like, all right, I'm going to use control security. That I mean, you could, but you suck at it.
Right.
You sell it to me. I'm going to use what I'm good at. I'm
What's
going to
the
use
ship
And
called?
the-
my
Reason-
science and whatever, and then you tell me
Paranoid.
why that works.
Paranoia.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
tell me
Sell
why
some
it
good
works.
shit, I'll buy it.
If I think it's
Money
reasonable,
match
I'll
it,
say
I'm
yes.
gonna buy it.
Okay.
If it's outlandish, I'll be
Money
like,
match.
find something else.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, yeah. So then, but yeah, like reason engineering,
Sensor.
because I'm like it's going through the computers, like it's going through the system on the.
Clearly
You can
engineering.
read or read
That's
out.
that's
Gotcha.
engineering.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
And
look at the.
computers are built on reason.
Yeah, and just like Rob was saying, this is paranoia.
There
You're,
it goes.
you're selling me a story.
That's
Yeah.
not
You're
right.
selling me a
Alright.
story.
Yeah.
That's a success.
So the purple one is the ship, sensor science, and then these two are mine.
That's
Ooh,
pretty
look
good.
at all those
wow.
successes.
That's a double success. 1, 2, 3, and that's also success 4.
And
Plus
then
mine.
5.
Plus 5 successes. So
Alright,
bank whatever
so-
momentum.
You're gonna get what was the difficulty on that for you for
For
sensor
sensor
sweep?
sweep, it is a difficulty of 0.
0. All right, so you have 5 all together. You're gonna bank these 2. That's gonna bring you at maximum. You have 3 momentum to spend.
I will
How
use
you
it all for
choose.
extra information.
All right. So all that's being used for extra information. As it turns out, you have picked up their trail. They have split off. Half of them have gone to the temporal planet. The other half have gone to
The Dune planet?
the Dune planet, the desert planet,
Yeah.
which will be known as the Dune planet temporarily.
Can we tell which one the
Twilight.
ship with the commander, what's her face, and Taserface, which that one went?
Taserface
Aurelia.
has gone
You remember her name? I don't remember her name.
to an unspecified planet.
They didn't join those two. They didn't go to either one of those planets.
Taserface has gone to an unspecified planet because you don't know what ship Taserface is on.
So you're
I
gonna
thought
know
we
You have Taserface's
found
ship.
out that he went to the ship that the commander,
Yeah.
the second in command, was.
Right, we don't know which one
and
it
we,
is.
we knew that.
They could have split off.
Whether that.
So as it turns
that.
out right
Taser's
now,
just too much like the rest
you
of the
got-
ships.
So fuck Taserface.
all right.
Her ship.
Let
Where
me
did her
give it
ship
to you
go?
like this. Half of the ships have gone to the Chrono planet, where time's all kinds of weird.
Time's all fucked up.
The
Right.
other half has gone to the Doom
The
planet.
spice must flow.
I have
There
a
is
flat
one
boom.
ship.
Cross contamination.
Right,
There's
yeah,
one
we
ship.
did that a while ago.
There's one ship that you know has swung by the particular planet that you are on right now and has left to rejoin and go back to the temporal planet.
So there was a.
The water planet or the mechanical planet?
Well,
The
we're not at the
mechanical planet.
we're not at the mechanical planet yet.
Not yet. You guys are on your
But
way.
we know that they went there and then went somewhere else.
Yes.
Fuck. Okay.
So they ain't
Who
gonna
knows
make
how they fucked up our relations already?
They may have gotten the ship probably.
So that's the information that you have on that.
So I let the captain know that where the trails have led, and that there is a possible issue with the fact that they've already visited the mechanical planet and therefore may have already
Absconded.
no, they've already might have messed up our relations with the species that are located
And,
on the
and
planet.
as Lex said, they may have already taken everything off of the ship that crashed there.
Yeah.
It is a possibility, but I don't see why they would need to scavenge that ship
Well,
in
depends how bad their
particular.
ships work.
I like.
And we don't even know where that
Closer.
ship is located because I think it's underground where the primitives are. So I doubt they
That's forgettable.
fucked with that.
Scavenge is an interesting word that you would use there.
Yeah.
Salvagers. Wait.
But they were called
No,
scavengers.
they were
I thought
called
they were called
scavengers.
Ravagers, right?
Yeah, they're called ravagers for like.
The
for-
ravagers.
No, they were
Oh wait,
not
cross
ravagers.
contamination.
They were
Oh
called-
no!
No, we didn't make that call technically. That was.
No, they were called the scavengers, motherfucker. I have it written down.